Hello everybody and welcome back to The Lost Planeswalker. You're here with me, Jesse, The Lost Planeswalker, and today we're going to talk about all the spooky creatures we can expect to find, and maybe some friends along the way, in Duskmourn. Now, if you didn't watch my previous video talking about the past lore and geography of Duskmourn, I really recommend it because it's going to give some insight to the places that these creatures live and some history about them. But basically, Valgavoth is the demon controlling the House of Duskmourn, and their power seems to have no limits in this realm. The house has grown to such a scale that it envelops not only the entire plane, but it has also folded into it the demonic realm and pushed the spirit realm to the edges of the blind eternities. Because of this, the house has been able to manifest creatures out of nothing. Nightmares, cellar spawn, and glimmers are some creatures you will encounter that might end or save your life. Nightmares are exactly as they sound, the living embodiment of the survivor's worst fears. Because these come from the mind of each person individually, they are unique, and unlike most of the creatures in this house, they don't necessarily want to kill you, but trap you inside them, causing you to relive that fear for eternity. Some other members we'll talk about later, called the Cult of Valgavoth, purposefully feed their fears to the house for inspiration. Cellar Spawn is actually the daydreams of Valgavoth, and these twisted and distorted creatures are a nightmare to look at, but I guess that depends who's looking at them. These creatures don't have any real sentience, but they do desire to kill anything and everything. And while they're not the brightest, running and hiding is often the best way to avoid these creatures, as they will soon forget about you in a short amount of time. And lastly, we have the Glimmers, that are the only shining hope in the House of Duskmourn, as these are created from the hope of the survivors who are trapped here. These creatures offer protection and will embody whatever the survivors' hopes represent. It can be an object, a pet, or a friend, whatever makes them feel most safe. Now that we've looked at these manifestations, let's look over the other monsters that call Duskmourn its home, but before we do so, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a like and subscribe. It's free and super helpful, getting more people in front of my content. So now let's start looking at the cult who worships Valgavoth in all their glory. The Cult of Valgavoth is as demented and twisted as their master. They believe that Valgavoth has given them a blessing by draining them of their fear, which they do by letting Valgavoth drain them in these rituals using giant cocoons. His power can grow, and their minds begin to melt as they're being eaten away, sometimes only leaving these bags of meat remaining who only do as they're told. One of the main roles of the members of this cult is to spend time repairing the house, of repairing damage it's sustained. Within this cult, like any cult, there are levels, with starting members moving up to cocooners in charge of the rituals, Imgora, who are the next level of hand-picked members who complete secret tasks for the highest order member called the Senshi. The Senshi talks directly to Valgavoth and even knows the location to his lair in the basement. The cult gains members by promising safety and luring people in with kindness. After that, they start to indoctrinate them and do almost anything to keep them from escaping. Now, moving to maybe some of the most unique monsters in Magic: The Gathering, as of late, we have glitch ghosts. The house allows no one in or out easily, and these glitch ghosts are unfortunate souls who died during the ascension of Duskmourn, who have been able to squeeze themselves into the house through cracks in walls, screens, mirrors, and doors. These ghosts are in a fixed state of despair where they're stuck in the moment they died, and will haunt and chase people who remind them of themselves. When Valgavoth was ascending, he found that certain things could not be destroyed or consumed. Like the spirit realm, these ghosts got pushed to the edge of the blind eternities. The stress and pressure that the house puts on the edges of the blind eternity creates these cracks that these ghosts can find their way into the house through. These foes are very hard to beat, and one of the only ways the survivors have found to defeat them is using pre-ascension tech scattered all around the house. When that happens, these ghosts are temporarily destroyed until they reform and squirm their way back in. Now, the next enemy might be just as mentally twisted as these ghosts, with the Razorkin. Razorkin are former survivors who thrive on the pain and suffering, like Valgavoth. They devise methodic ways to torture people, and when they get bored, they'll even turn on each other. The Razorkin find home in the boiler bridges, and once you enter, you'll find it hard to leave without playing a part in one of their games. The Lord of Pain acts as the group's semi-leader, as the Razorkin often work alone. The Lord of Pain also works to coordinate large attacks, and to help gain new members. Razorkin might be one of the monsters in the house most determined to catch whatever they chase with an almost unmatched determination. Wickerfolk are living constructs of past survivors who've succumbed to an unnatural transformation. During the Ascension, some believed to have found a way to escape the torture by using this ritual to become something else. Unfortunately, the ritual did nothing like they thought it would, leaving their minds intact as their bodies become these twisted, plant hybrid creatures. These creatures use magic through touch or spores in the air to transform others into Wickerfolk or living statues. Fire is their biggest fear, and heavy chopping weapons are especially good against their wooden bodies. Maybe the most leading of all the monsters in the house are the Quicken toys. Valgavoth's warping influence has given these former inanimate objects life and a taste for killing. These toys work over time to find the perfect moment to strike. They will stay wherever they were last left, waiting for the next prey to find them. You would think that a place that has folded the demonic realm into itself would be full of powerful demons, but Valgavoth made sure that no demon could ever challenge him or his power. Tracking them down and either killing or damaging them beyond a point they will never fully recover, most of the demons of Duskmourn are just shells of their former selves. Now, don't get me wrong, these are still demons and quite powerful, but often try to form pacts with humans like the pre-Ascension days in order to gain power and maybe one day defeat Valgavoth and claim the house for their own. Moving again to creatures in the house that befriend saviors, we have beasties. These large furry friends will befriend saviors for the cost of affection. These creatures just want to be loved and will protect anyone who cares for them. All beasties wear masks that hide their faces, that are twisted and terrifying, and any beast whose face has been revealed will abandon their friend and in some cases attack them for finding out who they truly are. Now, we've talked about a lot of creatures, but honestly, my favorite is the next one here with gremlins. Gremlins are exactly as they sound, little mischievous creatures that love to play pranks and bring chaos. They offer no real threat, but will mess with others' stuff, leaving them in some sticky situation. Of course, there are more creatures that will appear in the set, but the main set of creatures that I haven't talked about that I think will bring some really interesting gameplay are the survivors. Survivors are some of the remaining humans from long ago and new ones that have entered Duskmourn from their planes. These groups often move nomadically, not staying in one place for too long to avoid monsters from finding them. The only place that survivors have permanent residence are in the flood pits. Using technology from the pre-Ascension days, they're able to cobble together devices to track monsters and do research about the house, hoping to one day find out how to escape. Within the survivors, there are two prominent groups, the House Institute and the Doorblades. Working with each other, they gain mutually beneficial relationship of the Doorblades hunting monsters, the House Institute researching them, and then giving the Doorblades more information to fight better. And with that, I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. This has been a really fun video to make, learning about all the different monsters we're going to see in Duskmourn. Some of these creatures brand new to the game for the first time. I hope you enjoyed and that you'll let me know down below what creatures you're most excited to see. If you could please leave a like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe, that would mean the world to me, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Now today's Scryfall card of the day is Into the Night. When lost souls wander into the woods, the wilds have a way of showing them who they really are. Rahilda Vilden Pack Alpha. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you later, Planeswalkers.